Why do old memories feel softer than they really were? Like flipping through photos that seem warmer than the day itself. There's something gentle about the way the past returns to us. It can feel calmer, simpler, almost kinder than it once was. Many people notice this, even if they don't name it. Sometimes it shows up in small, quiet moments. A song plays and suddenly everything feels better than it was. An old place comes to mind and it feels more peaceful now. But back then, it may not have felt that way at all. There's a quiet pattern behind this. People often call it rosy retrospection. It's the idea that we remember the past a little more fondly. Not because we're trying to, but because memory shifts over time. And this is where things get interesting. Because memory isn't a perfect recording. It's more like a story that gently rewrites itself. Some details soften, others fade. And what remains often feels smoother than reality. This is something many people don't notice. The difficult parts don't always disappear, but they lose their edge. Stressful days blur into something quieter. Arguments shrink into brief moments instead of long emotions. And discomfort becomes easier to hold at a distance. But there's something deeper happening. When we live through something, we feel everything at once. The stress, the uncertainty, the small frustrations. It's messy and immediate. But when we remember it later, that intensity isn't there. We're no longer inside the moment. We're observing it from afar. And distance changes how things feel. A long school day once felt exhausting. But now it might feel simple and carefree. A job that felt overwhelming might now seem meaningful. Even ordinary days can feel special in hindsight. And this is where memory becomes selective. Not intentionally, just naturally. Moments that carried emotion tend to stay. But the weight of them often lightens over time. It can feel like the past was easier. Even if it wasn't. Because we're remembering highlights, not full experiences. We recall the laughter, but not always the silence around it. We remember the comfort, but not the waiting that came with it. And slowly, a softer version of the past forms. This doesn't mean the memories are false. They're just incomplete in a gentle way. And that incompleteness can feel comforting. It can give the past a kind of glow. A sense that things were somehow better. But that feeling isn't about accuracy. It's about perception. And perception changes as we do. What once felt stressful might now feel meaningful. What once felt ordinary might now feel precious. Time reshapes emotional weight. And memory follows along. This is something many people quietly experience. Looking back and feeling warmth they didn't notice before. Feeling nostalgia for moments that once felt neutral. Or even difficult. And that can feel confusing at times. Why does something feel better now than it did then? Part of it is distance. Part of it is growth. And part of it is how the mind protects emotional balance. It softens the sharp edges. Not to mislead, but to make things easier to carry. Because holding every moment exactly as it was would be overwhelming. So instead, memory edits gently. It keeps what matters most emotionally. And releases what doesn't need to stay heavy. But there's something important to remember here. This doesn't mean the present is worse. It just feels different because we're inside it. Right now still has its full weight. Its uncertainty, its details, its unfinished edges. And one day this moment might feel softer too. Even if today feels complicated. Even if it doesn't seem special yet. That's the quiet nature of memory. It changes tone over time. Not reality itself, but how we hold it. So when the past feels better, it might not be because it truly was. It might be because we're remembering it gently. And maybe that's not a flaw. Maybe it's a kind of emotional balance. A way of carrying life without becoming overwhelmed by it. Because the past doesn't change. But the way we remember it often does.